and I'm going to work on a casserole for lunchtime. And it is called the Amish Thank You Casserole. So this comes from the cookbook, The Art of Amish Cooking. And it is a casserole dish that was meant as a thank you gift. And so it's going to be really simple to put together, and I hope you make it for yourself. This recipe comes from the Amish. You know it's going to be staple foods that most of us have. It calls for a buttered casserole dish. I'm going to use some coconut oil. So we want to butter your casserole dish or spray it. Then we're going to line it with some peeled and sliced potatoes. So the potatoes go on the bottom of it. Potatoes line the bottom of the casserole. We're going to add 1 pound of ground beef that is raw. So this is going to go in the oven for quite a while. So all we do is, it says to crumble with ground beef. Of course you could use ground turkey. You probably could even use chicken if you wanted to. This is such an easy recipe because you don't have to do a whole lot ahead of time. And I would think you would want your ground beef to be rather lean. That way you don't have so much fat. Now it doesn't call for this, but I have about a cup of peas, and I'm going to add peas to this to use them up. So I'm going to go ahead and wash my hands and add some peas. It calls for 1 medium onion. So far we just have a layer of potatoes. It calls for about 5 of them. 1 pound of ground beef and 1 medium onion. Now I'm going to add a cup of peas because that's what I have, and I really want to get them used up. Now for the toppings. In a big bowl we're going to add 1 can of cream of chicken soup and 1 can of vegetable soup that's condensed. So I'm going to open these up and mix it up in the bowl, and then we'll put it on top, and then our casserole is just about finished. So we have 1 can of cream of chicken soup, 1 can of vegetable soup. Now we're going to go ahead, we're going to mix this all together. I'm going to add some cheese to mine as well. Just a little bit. You're going to ask me how much? Well, maybe about half a cup to a cup. That looks about right. Now here's our casserole. So let's recap. It's about 5 potatoes peeled and sliced thinly and layered on the bottom. 1 pound of ground beef, crumbled and it's raw. 1 medium onion, and I added the peas. 1 can of cream soup to 1 can of vegetable soup condensed. And I added a cup of cheese. Because for potato chips on top. I'm going to go with breadcrumbs. It's a healthier option. Let's go sprinkle breadcrumbs on top. And there you go, my friends. Now it says you can either bake it at 325 for 120 minutes. That would be 2 hours, or 350 for an hour and a half. Being that we are going to be using some raw meat, I am going to cook it at 350 for 90 minutes. So that gives me an hour and a half that I can get out and get my garden work finished before the rain comes. And I'll show you what it looks like when we're finished. Just one quick tip, it says you're supposed to cover it tightly with foil. So let's get it in the oven and let's get working. Oh, lunch is in the oven. outside work is all finished, and now it's time to try some lunch. One thing I love about this casserole is it takes a long time to cook, so you can put it in your oven and you can do some of your work. But let's see how it tastes. It looks really good. Alright, so let's give it a try. Now it's really, really hot. So I had it in about the time it said. I put it on at 350 for 90 minutes, or you could do it 325 for 120 minutes. This is really good comfort food. This is something that my mom would have made. It reminds me of a very German, Mennonite, just down-home cooking. It's actually really good. That's a good casserole. I hope you can vary however you want. Maybe you want to put green beans on top instead of peas. It's whatever you have on hand. And it's really good. Take care, everyone. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Time for Fanny's diary. We're on May 13th, 1943. Today I was at Lancaster and at the doctor's. Too bad the lima beans are now frozen. If you all remember her, last week she planted lima beans. I guess they had a hard frost. That's how life is sometimes when you have a garden.